A new German study published in the December Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that a nutrient called lignans can significantly lower the risk of death from postmenopausal breast cancer. Here with more on this is natural health care expert Dr. Mark Mincolla. Thanks for being with us.
Great to be here. Thank you.
First of all, a lot of people probably have no idea what that word is that I just said, lignans. So explain to us what that is.
Well, Shannon, lignans are really nothing more than healthy estrogens found in foods.
And so in what types of foods do we find these things?
Well, certainly for years we talked about soy as being a healthy estrogen food. Now it's flax, whole grain products, fruits, vegetables, a variety of other legumes as well.
So specifically, give me broccoli, I know they always say the leafier, greener, the better.
Great point. Mustard greens, broccoli, turnip greens, all these kind of leafy greens that you're talking about, absolutely loaded with this stuff.
So a lot of things that they tell us that we should be working into our diet anyway, right?
Right, but nothing more than flax. Flax is at the top of the shelf.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about this study. What did we learn from this?
Well, they looked at 1,100 postmenopausal women. They followed them for a period of 6 years. And they followed them dietarily, finding that those women who consumed the highest amount of lignans in their diet had up to a 42% reduced risk of death from breast cancer.
Wow, that's it's
significant.
It is significant. And you mentioned that this is sort of the same type of thing that we're hearing about soy. Explain that.
Well, for years a lot of folks were confused about soy. Soy is estrogenic, and of course there's some disadvantages in many cases to that. But, we found in recent studies, similar to this particular study, that there are good estrogens, there are bad estrogens. There's an important distinction to be made here, Shannon. The idea that a lot of these fruits and vegetables do have a healthy estrogen that actually blocks the binding of cancer cells to bad estrogen. So, different story.
Yeah, I guess explain how that works a little bit, because it is confusing to people when you hear about, there are different kinds of estrogens.
Yep.
There's good, there's bad. These are the good. How does it work with the bad?
Well, these are called weak estrogens. The animal-based estrogens are 2,000 times stronger. So there's a confusion process here where the cancer cells get confused. They see the weaker estrogens from plant sources. They bind with them, and then they're not able to basically replicate in the same way that they are with the animal-based estrogens. So it really kind of throws the whole ballgame into a confusion.
How do they even come upon something like this? When they start a study, how would you even know to look for something like this?
Well, there's two kinds of studies. This is a population, an epidemiological study that sort of shows the end fact or the end result. But there's also many cell studies and cell line studies that look at the way that the cells respond as well. So, it's been about 20 years of research. They're starting to come up with some really interesting distinctions between good estrogen from plant sources, bad estrogen from animal sources.
Right. Oh, it's a lot to take in, because you feel like you always hear different studies about suddenly soy is good for you, suddenly soy is bad for you. Now you're hearing about lignans. For people that don't necessarily love to eat their greens or, don't want to find this in a food source, is there a supplemental version of this?
Yeah, there is. Great question. A lot of folks, of course, are aware of flaxseed oils that you can buy in your neighborhood health food stores. I would recommend 2,000 milligrams. That's like 2 capsules a day of flaxseed oil. Barleans is a great company, many different companies, Spectrum, all available on the health food shelves.
So is this stuff that, even someone at a younger age might want to start eating stuff?
Absolutely, because I think, these lignans have many other really positive benefits as well. These are really powerful nutrients that have great antioxidant support in the body. So they help block free radicals, keep immunity in shape. So they're definitely advised.
They're all around good for anyone at any age.
Yep.
Tell us, I guess, if you can. I know we said vegetables. Are there any other sources? If you can take a supplement, that's good as well. Any other sources of this? And how did they discover that it was in those leafy
Well, again,
greens?
when you analyze these foods, you basically do a breakdown of the different nutrients supplied in these particular foods. The flax are really top of the shelf. Soy, legumes in general, beans and legumes really high in these lignans. Also, the mustard greens like we talked about, the cruciferins like the different broccolis, etc., the green leafies, really high. But so too are fruits, vegetables, and the difference between white flour and whole grain flour is big difference. There's more lignans in the whole unprocessed crude grains as well.
All right. So yet another reason to eat your greens. And if you want more information on this, you can visit Mark's website. It's maxhealing.com.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for being with us.